Coming up on Fulton Today, Fulton's 911 Communications Center is expanding to provide even greater service in less time.
For the first time this year, county commissioners and mayors meet to continue discussions about Fulton's transit future. I'm Brian Robinson, and I have more on this story coming up.
And Fulton's Justice community helps celebrate 10 years of keeping families safe. And early voting for the March special election is underway. That and much more starts right now on Fulton Today. Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. We'll get to those stories in a moment. But first, for the first time in 2019, county leaders meet with mayors from Fulton cities. And just like in previous meetings, the transit issue is a major topic. FGTV's Brian Robinson joins us with more on the story. Brian?
Shania, the majority of Fulton County's mayors attended this meeting because transit is the one topic that impacts them all.
Purpose of this meeting is more to level set, again, everyone as to where we are, specifically on the issue of transit.
The meeting began with the county manager giving a rundown of the meeting. Afterwards, commissioners and mayors from the Fulton cities watched intensely as representatives from MARTA, Georgia's Department of Transportation, and the Atlanta Transit Link Authority presented their respective plans for changing the transit landscape of both the county and the region.
But I think we made a lot of progress, good conversation. The important thing to note is that in order to be successful, all of the county needs to be considered. It's not one side of the county versus the other.
The commissioners and mayors last met in early 2018 to finalize Fulton's transit master plan, which mostly included bus rapid transit options. Since then, state lawmakers created the Atlanta Transit Link Authority. Due to that creation, this latest meeting focused on possibly changing Fulton's transit master plan to coincide with the state's plan of improving transportation, especially along Georgia 400, the top end of 285, and the South Fulton Parkway.
One of the challenges we've had in the metropolitan Atlanta area for the last 30, 40 years is we've allowed a lot of growth to go forward without any planning on infrastructure. This is a real opportunity for us to get ahead of redevelopment in Fulton County and the metro area, particularly in the close-in communities like ours, and get the infrastructure in place before development or redevelopment occurs, which then has a corresponding benefit of reducing congestion and improving mobility.
Certainly with the conversation that we had, there is a concern as to what are we going to make sure that equity is included in this? And when you say equity, you want to make sure that we're not just talking about one side of town, the north side. We talked a great deal about what's happening, as it relates to Georgia 400, and it's greatly needed, and we support that. I know I do.
For Fulton to change its transit master plan, commissioners must first call for a referendum.
The next steps in the process is really to go back to the Transit Master Plan that was adopted last January, do a little bit of tweaks to it to make sure that we have all the projects we want to have funded on a future .2 referendum, if that's the decision we go, and then work with the ATL, which is the Regional Transit Agency, to get that into the regional plan. And from there, we'll be able to then start looking at the timing of when a referendum and getting in front of the voters to fund this plan is the best choice and the most chance of it succeeding.
We really have to come together. The requirement is for 70% of the population outside of the county to agree. My personal opinion is that we need to have a higher goal than that. 100% would be ideal, because if the elected leaders don't get behind the plan, it's going to be difficult to sell it to the public.
At the end of the meeting, commissioners and mayors said they would target late April to early May to meet again to continue the transit conversation.
Now, one other interesting note about this meeting is that commissioners and mayors say they will keep a close eye on the Gwinnett County referendum coming up on March 19th, because they want to see if that vote will impact how Fulton County moves forward with transit. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Brian Robinson.
Thank you very much. A Fulton County judge is given a prestigious appointment by Georgia's new governor. Superior Court Judge Sean LaGrua is now part of Governor Brian Kemp's Judicial Nominating Commission. The 25-member commission makes recommendations to fill vacancies in state, superior, and appellate courts in Georgia. The governor says he and the Judicial Nominating Commission will ensure that members of the state's judiciary branch serve with integrity and humility. Judge Sean LaCroix has served on the Fulton County bench since 2010. Her My Journey Matters program offers alternative sentencing for 16 to 29-year-olds who commit violent and semi-violent crimes. Judge LaCroix was also an assistant district attorney in the Fulton County DA's office. Another court program that's dedicated to keeping families safe is celebrating its 10th year inside the Fulton County Courthouse. Now, Fulton's chief judge says it's a program that literally saves lives every week. FGTV's Greg Thomas has the story.
It was a celebration a decade in the making.
We're blessed to have this co-located facility.
And a celebration to mark the life-saving work of one county program. Fulton's Superior Court Chief Judge and representatives from the Safe Families Office mark the 10th anniversary of the office being housed inside the Fulton County Courthouse. Operated by the Atlanta Volunteer Lawyer Foundation and the Partnership Against Domestic Violence, the Safe Families Office is the only one of its kind in the state housed in a courthouse.
What our office does is, in partnership with two organizations, the Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers Foundation and the Partnership Against Domestic Violence, we team up to provide services for those who need to file for protective orders. We provide legal assistance, we provide social work referrals, we provide shelter assistance. So it's a whole range of services that a lot of folks in Fulton County rely on.
According to the Safe Families website, 1 in 4 women experience domestic violence. Representatives also say approximately 3,000 people seek support from Safe Families.
When people are coming in and thinking, I need a temporary protective order, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to do it, we can help them with the paperwork, we can help them in the courtroom, we can help them navigate all the hallways and how to find everything. But we know that it's more than just a temporary protective order. It's about safety overall for them and their children.
After the celebration, attendees were invited to take a tour of the Safe Families' new office, opening later in the year.
The good news is we'll be opening a Justice Resource Center in the newer court building on the 7th floor, about 6 months, and they'll have space there as well, even more modern, a place where kids can be so they don't have to hear mom or dad talk about the horrors of what's happening at home.
Fulton's chief judge also calls the partnership between the courts and Safe Families one of the most valuable partnerships with a third-party agency, and hopes it will continue to grow as time moves on. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Greg Thomas.
Thank you very much. Meanwhile, Fulton's 911 service is getting an upgrade. Construction to expand the communication center is now underway. The project will allow for 4 additional call taker positions as well as 4 dispatcher positions. And by having more of each, calls can be answered faster no matter the situation.
There are times when we will need to have additional radio positions for events that are going on, for anything that is like an unscheduled event. We'll have the capabilities of expanding and adding more. When you have major events, you're going to have more phone calls coming in, and you're going to need more dispatchers on radios for those type of things.
Expansion also allows the communication center to take on additional jurisdictions and agencies. Other phases of the construction project include new offices for the Support Services Division as well as new administrative offices. Now, the entire project is scheduled to be complete by the end of May. A group of Fulton managers are officially sworn in as new officers of the Georgia Society of Certified Public Managers Fulton County chapter. Magistrate Judge Melanie Leffridge administered the oath of office. The Georgia Society of Certified Public Managers was founded under the leadership of Governor George Busby back in 1977. The once defunct program is now reestablished thanks to these newly elected officers.
So we're delighted as Fulton County to take the lead with 150 cohort members strong to rebuild that organization for the state as well as for our metro area and of course for Fulton County. We promote high standards of performance and management for government, and building world-class public sector employees and leaders.
The Certified Public Manager designation is awarded to public sector managers who have completed the required 300 hours of study through a CPM program accredited by the National Certified Public Manager Consortium. Way to go, guys. Well, early voting for the March special election begins this week. Residents of the city of Atlanta and Hapeville will have until Friday, March 15th to cast their vote early. Unlike previous early voting periods, the Fulton County Government Center will be the only place where an early vote can be cast. Times are Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. Now, originally, there were no plans to offer early voting options, but that changed.
We want to provide our voters with the opportunity to vote early, and this election is a small one that will probably have limited turnout, but we still want to give everyone the opportunity to vote early.
Once again, the March special election is March 19th. If a runoff is needed, that date is April 16th. To learn more about this election and to see the acceptable forms of ID, log on to FultonElections.com. And coming up next on Fulton Today, county leaders join the conversation to end sex trafficking. Details in our district-by-district coverage next. One commissioner talks about the importance of the fight against sex trafficking, and another wants increased transparency with the Development Authority. Here's this week's district-by-district coverage. We begin with Chairman Rob Pitts, who joined state lawmakers and other public officials at the Capitol to support legislation concerning sex trafficking. The at-large commissioner joined advocates to support House Bill 234.
This is a joint effort, although we've been very involved here at our level at Fulton County. The fact that state government is now involved is a very good sign.
Chairman Pitts has been leading the Fulton County government effort to end sex trafficking in the county. He created a sex trafficking task force and has been working with judges and officials in Fulton's juvenile court. Vice Chairman Lee Morris is calling for more transparency with the Development Authority of Fulton County. The authority was established in the 1970s by Fulton commissioners for the purpose of developing and promoting for the public good and general welfare, trade, commerce, industry, and employment opportunities.
To their credit, the Development Authority of Fulton County, in response to some of our inquiries, has put more information on their website. They've provided an address and description of the property, the taxes being paid before the abatement, the estimated taxes being saved by the abatement, and they've instituted public comment as a formal part of their process.
2018, Fulton commissioners called for public meetings of the authority, the Board of Assessors, and the Registration Elections Board to be televised so that residents could see what was happening in the meetings. Only the Registration and Elections Board has agreed to air their meetings live. District 4 Commissioner Natalie Hall sits down with the head of the Chick-fil-A College Football Hall of Fame. The CEO is the guest of the Commissioner's monthly TV show called The District. The College Football Hall of Fame was established in 1951 to immortalize the greatest players and coaches as positive role models for future generations. And in 2014, the College Football Hall of Fame opened in Atlanta. You can catch the airing of The District right here on FGTV. And you can also catch the commissioners at work all this week with the rebroadcast of the Board of Commissioners meeting, which you can catch on demand on the Fulton County website. And still to come on Fulton Today, seniors take to the pool to serve up their A game in honor of Healthy Heart Month. Stay with us. Fulton's Justice Partners joined the recognition of Georgia's court-appointed special advocates. Now, this special group is dedicated to improving the lives of children in foster care throughout the state. FGTV's Melissa Lewis has the story.
In a sea of red, these advocates flooded the Gold Dome to advocate for one issue: the protection of children. This is CASA Day at the Capitol.
CASAs are community volunteers, everyday heroes who step up in the courtroom to make sure that young people and children who are victims of abuse and neglect have a consistent adult who knows them, who brings urgency to their case, and who's always by their side.
While 300 showed up on this one day to the Capitol, there are over 300 CASA volunteers in the state, many of whom offer their services at the Fulton County Juvenile Court and Justice System. This is Terry Bushell, Fulton's CASA recruiter, with her team of county advocates.
Our advocates work diligently to ensure a safe and permanent home for children in foster care, and our funding is based on legislative dollars. As you know, we are written in the official code of Georgia, Chapter 15, 11-103, where every child entering care should have a voice in court, and CASA is that voice.
The courts appoint CASA volunteers to gather information and make recommendations to help judges decide what is best for each child. CASA is the only volunteer organization that empowers everyday citizens as officers of the court.
The juvenile court judges will tell you that CASAs bring them information that they wouldn't otherwise have. It's a common sense approach. They know that child and they know what those child's needs are, and that helps them make better decisions in court.
CASA volunteers undergo 40 hours of initial training and 12 hours of continuing education each year. And while these volunteers and support staff lobbied for funds for their services, they say they are hoping for just as much support from the public. People who want to volunteer to help the children who are in so much need. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Melissa Lewis.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Meanwhile, Fulton residents living in areas designated as food deserts now have the chance to apply for free fruit and vegetables. The Fulton Fresh Mobile Market will open May 28th. However, the application process to attend one of the locations has begun. The mobile market makes stops in several communities, and the organizations that wish for the service to stop at their venue must apply.
So anyone can apply for the Fulton Fresh Mobile Market to be a location. This could be someone in a church, someone who works for a nonprofit, someone who works at a library, any type of public place, but they have to be located in a food desert.
Agencies must apply by 5 p.m. on March 22nd. You can get more information by calling the Cooperative Extension Fulton County office or by emailing Kristen Sumter. Fulton leaders battle seniors from DeKalb County in a friendly game of volleyball, and all for a good cause. The seniors at the Helene S. Mills facility decided to go red for Healthy Heart Month against the Lou Walker facility.
And we always have a good time. It's a little competitive, but we always trying to find some fun in it, and it's always some good exercise for them.
And that's one thing about being in the water. We moving, activity. Keep that heart pumping, that blood. Yes.
The national celebration for Heart Health Month is February. Heart disease is the leading cause of death for men and women in the United States every year. 1 in 4 deaths are caused by heart disease. Organizers say this game is a way for them to stress having a healthy heart while having a good time. And still to go on Fulton Today, these teens are volunteering their time to help others succeed in school. We'll explain when we come back. Well, here's a cool story. County teens donate time to help others and their local libraries. The Atlanta Fulton Public Library System's Volunteens program is an after-school weekday program that gives teenagers the chance to volunteer. Now, here at Robert F. Fulton OC branch, these teens are helping elementary and middle schoolers with their homework.
This program is called FAST. It's Fast After School Tutoring. So essentially, a lot of these kids that live around this Fulton County area lack access to a tutor that they can just in and out and has like not too much commitment, which is why a lot of our students, when they have a homework question or like an assignment that they might not need to, get a paid tutor for with that like weekly commitment, they can come here, ask us a quick question, and we're willing to help them out on it.
Teens can also help with clerical aid work and shelving work if teaching is not their thing.
I tend to really enjoy the peaceful atmosphere of a library, and I thought it would be a great place to volunteer in. The work is relatively simple, but I feel it's also important because there's a lot of it. And the staff are very friendly, and it's a great place to be.
Teens and adults are always needed to volunteer their time. To find out how you can help, you can call the Volunteer Services number at 404-612-9486. You can also email vol.services@fultoncountyga.gov. And finally, a beloved piece of county art finds a new home. Officials from the Department of Arts and Culture took part in the donation of the sculpture known as Wisdom Bridge to Union City. Previously located in the plaza in front of the Central Library, the sculpture is now on display in a Union City Park at the intersection of Flat Shoals Road and Shannon Parkway. The move to Union City is a result of the Central Library renovation project. Now, the plaza in front of the library, where the sculpture used to be for nearly 30 years, is being redesigned to encourage greater public life around the building.
Public art is always a way to take art to the people, to enliven a space, to make an environment much better for people to enjoy. So this piece is no different, and that's why we relocated so that it would be in a public place to enliven that space so that people can really relish and see what public art is all about and what art can do to enliven the spirit and the soul.
The sculpture is part of Union City's ongoing effort to improve beautification and the arts throughout its community. Glad it found a new home. Well, before we go, our reminder that FGTV wants to connect with you online. Be sure to follow FGTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for up-to-date Fulton County news. You can watch a replay of this show and any other FGTV program anytime on our YouTube channel, so please subscribe. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis Rucker. Thank you so much for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.